the ringmaster for everything here. And now it is the time to come back to listen to the masters again. So this is a session which is very close to our heart, Coffee with Masters. So that means it's a formally informal discussion with the masters, how they have become masters, what are the pain they have gone through it, their journey, their lives, all about. So be prepared for this, and then we'll move for that. Filled post-lunch, drowsy feeling. So, but again, once you listen to this, life journey of the masters, I'm sure that you will have the thrill you are never going to have in your life. How these masters, we have 4 masters here for OSWB 55th conference, but Dr. Harsha could not make it, so we'll have the 3 masters who are available here. We'll move on for the coffee with masters. You have a 2 coffee brewer, Rupak and Maneesh. So it is indeed, we will have a cup of coffee and discuss about them, what I was mentioning there. This is, informally, formal, we are going to discuss with them. I will call upon to stage Dr. N. Venkatesh Prajna sir. Put your hands together for the legend of Arvind Eye Hospital. I will call upon Dr. J.K. Gangadhar Sundar, the legend of Indian ophthalmology, and I would like to call him as an ambassador of Indian ophthalmology to the world of ophthalmology. And I would like to call upon Dr. Girish Rao, another legend of Shankar Netralaya, the proper follower of Dr. S.S. Badrinath. So can we have a cup of coffee, please? This is a kind of surprise for you all. We'll have a cup of coffee. You can have the black coffee with tea and sugar. You can mix it up, and then we can, quickly have a discussion for that. Cafe Coffee Day have a common tagline. A lot more things can happen over coffee. So when you get the masters, that can happen. A lot of things can happen, but even beyond that, something can happen. So when you have the masters in your, you sit with them with the coffee. It's all about how do you make it? How do you make the coffee? The coffee where conversation starts and the ideas take the flight. So our first coffee discussion is, this coffee is having the coffee mug will have all the presenters, there, and this is as a souvenir, we'll gift it to you, sir. So, how many of you have read an ophthalmology book, have the opportunity of reading an ophthalmology book, and later on you have become the editor-in-chief of that book? Anyone is here? Yeah. So, Prajna sir, your experience of being that thrill, can you just describe to us? Let us start from the top and then we'll come down.
Thank you, sir. Actually, my main passion is postgraduate education. And this was when I was actually doing my residency time, there were only 2 books. Parson was there and Payman was there. Kansky was just coming in.
Yes.
And Payman book was something special to me because my father, Dr. Namparamal Sami, did his fellowship under Dr. Payman and Dr. Goldberg at UIC in Chicago.
Okay.
And all my achievements, my father never, he'll just say, okay. But when I just told him that I'm going to be the editor-in-chief of Payman's book, he was very excited because that was his boss. So I think it was a very remarkable moment for me, but very frightening because it had that aura, and you
अगर
had
कुछ
to.
गड़बड़ हो गया तो Dr. Payne is not going to leave you. That's what.
This thing, but it was a completely different experience. I wanted it to be an international book, so we brought in Uday Devgan for cataract, Srinivas Sadda for retina, Pradeep Ramalu for glaucoma.
Yes.
So all people who were known to me all through the years, we brought in, and we made it happen. It was a very, very proud moment. And Dr. Goldberg, who was also one of the editors of the first payment book, wrote the foreword for this book also. Yeah. And this was a proud moment for me, that I could dedicate this book to the founders of Aravind Eye Care System, who were all trained by Dr. Payman in their previous avatar.
So this is the legacy what you are carrying for. So the flame will keep on burning.
Thank you.
Now I'll ask you a personal question, sir. You can see it here. You can identify Dr. PN here and Dr. GN. Okay? So who is as a stricter parent to you?
Definitely my mother.
Yeah, I'm about to ask you. The way Dr. GN, if anybody was exposed to Dr. G. Nachir, she will call a doctor. So she is a motherly figure with a strict, lathi in her hand. So did you got bitten by mother? Never.
I've got beaten up by my father, but I used to be more scared of my mother.
Oh.
Actually, one of the book, I don't know whether people have read that book called Tiger Mom.
Yes.
There was a lot of criticism about that book in the US. How can, it was about the Chinese mother who was grooming up their son or daughter to be a very strict musician. And when I was going through that book, I was just seeing what is so different about it. This is how we all had that, our childhood. I think most of us
absolutely
had it that way.
The Indian.
Yeah. But I think my mother's one look is enough. She doesn't need to hit me. Having said that, all 4 generations, to this day, we all stay in the same house. To this day. I think that is the most important thing. And I have become a grandfather, and my mother takes care of her great-granddaughter. So that still continues in the same house.
Yeah, I know we were very keen to call GN ma'am here also once, but because of her physical condition, we have restricted ourselves of not calling her. And even in that condition also, I believe that she used to go to that other part of the Arvind. If you can describe that whole COVID time, she was there alone in that hospital to take care of that.
She's become a part, she gets very passionate about what she does. She never took her job as an academic ophthalmologist very seriously. But for all Aravind people, if Dr. Venkateswamy was the dreamer, actually Dr. Nachir was the doer. She was just, she had a very tough childhood. Actually, she lost her father when she was 1. And she was raised up by her bachelor brother, who was 23 years elder to her. So she never had a lady in the house for almost 25 years of her life. I think that also played a major role for her tough upbringing in her life.
So she is in that way a self-disciplined lady.
I think she has gone through a lot in her life, and she had to undergo at that point of time 5 or 6 surgeries within 5 years for her club foot. Even now she cannot walk this thing. So, but when she sits in a chair, then she gets all the command.
Yes.
She can handle everything. But I think the tough childhood really strengthened her.
All over the world, wherever you go, your teaching skill, your knowledge, sparkles. So if you can just highlight few of them. This is University of California in San Francisco.
Yeah, actually the Wills Eye Hospital was the Peyton lecture, the person who founded Orbis. So that was a named lecture at Wills Eye Hospital, named after David Peyton. And at UCSF, it was the Thygsen lecture, named after Philip Thygsen, UCSF and Proctor. The Kellogg and Bascom Palmer were not named lectures, but I think in March I'm giving the Ron Michaels lecture at Wilmer.
Okay.
That would complete the circuit, I think, for giving named lectures in all the institutions. Again, I've gone there as 25, 30 years back as a fresh postgraduate to just go, and then to go back and give a named lecture is something interesting. All of it actually happened in the last 3 years, two or 3 years. And there's a joke that when you start getting 5th or 6th named lecture, that means the world wants you to retire. They don't want to hear you anymore. I think that's the phase.
But going to that 5th or 6th lecture, that gives you the stature for that level. That is also as absolutely true.
Yeah.
Sir, it has been, we all heard that Dr. GV, when you all goes to his house, you all used to go his house, so he used to decide who will be the vitreoretinal surgeon, who will be the cornea surgeon, he will be oculoplasty. Is it true? And he has decided for you as well?
No, that is an exaggeration. But we always have a joke in our house that we give so much choices to the younger generation, that you can be a retina surgeon, you can be a cornea surgeon, you can be a lid surgeon. I mean, that's a joke going on in the house. I mean, I don't think he was really interested in the micro details part of it. Nobody decides as to which this thing. I did not want to be a retina surgeon.
Oh.
That I was very clear, because all through the life, when it's very difficult to be a third generation thing in the family. It is not easy, because everybody thinks that it is you have not got it on your own right. But all my life I've been in government medical colleges, my undergraduation and my post-graduation, all this stuff. So I think in that way it was like a challenge. And you have to prove that you are not because of where you were born with. So sometimes being born with a silver spoon or so is also a big problem. It's a big thing hanging around on your neck.
That is absolutely, somebody is sitting on your shoulder. But again, you are sitting on the doyen's shoulder as well. So the way you look at the life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So in the top
Who is
picture,
that small tiny boy?
Yeah, in the top picture, actually you see 4 chief medical officers of Aravind Hospital. in the people who
most precious picture is.
Yeah, I am there in this. After me is Dr. Kalpana, who is actually
Dr. Narendran's wife.
Narendran's wife, who heads the Coimbatore Hospital. After that is Dr. Kim, who is the chief medical officer of Madurai Hospital. And after that is Dr. Aravind, who is the chief medical officer, who is in shorts.
Yeah, in shorts, in front.
Yeah. He is the chief medical officer at Aravind Hospital, Chennai. So it's actually this thing with our uncle, Dr. V. But that is the exposure you get when actually, because at that point of time we did not have any guest house or anything. So people, when they come, they used to stay in our house. I still remember when I was a student, Dr. Payman came and stayed in my house. And at that point of time, there was no big hotels in Madurai. And on the time when he was here, the Shah of Iran was overthrown. He, being an Iranian American, he was so excited. He thought a new revolution was coming up in Iran in a big way. I still remember he was in his undergarments dancing around the whole house, celebrating the Shah's ouster. So you have a lot of such kind of experiences growing up in this kind of this thing. Just like these Carnatic musicians, when they are this thing, they used to say that all the gurus used to come into this house and they'll have a chat and all this kind of stuff.
So that hospitality is still prevailing in Aravind Eye Hospital. Just last year only I went for this diabetic retinopathy program. And even there also, the guest house was kept it there, and the home food was made by the cook was there and being served. So you will never get in any other top-notch hospital where you go there. They will definitely put you in a 5-star hotel or somewhere else. So this is which is very much touching for all of us.
No, I think that is because we come from a small town, and we still have that small town culture. Actually, it's actually a winning culture. A small town culture, I think, is personally a very advantageous culture because people put you down very quickly because everybody knows everybody else.
Correct.
You can't throw your weight around. They'll just say, I know your grandfather, he was just walking without a cycle. They'll just tell you right in front of your face. So you are brought down very quickly to your knees. But I think a lot of resilience happens when you are from a small town and that kind of a thing.
But Arvind Eye Hospital has brought that small town to the world map to such an extent so that the Harvard University has come down to the Arvind Eye Hospital to analyze how the Arvind Eye Hospital analysis was there. Being the chief of the finance, if you can just describe this system, please.
I think that's a very interesting responsibility I've taken. Like in the past 3 years, Arvind Eye Hospital was never meant to be a business model, but it is a case study in all the business schools.
Yes.
Harvard business schools. I go and teach. I come and teach here in IIM Calcutta. I have taught finance here. Finance, not ophthalmology.
I came to know a few days back.
Yeah, so Joka or something. No?
Joka.
You
I am Joka, yes.
Joka campus. So I have come here. I teach in ISB. And also finance is something which I love. I understand it very well. There's a mistaken impression that doctors don't understand finance. I don't agree with that view at all. We can
understand with Dr. Devashish Bhattacharya, sir.
So I understand finance and I love finance very well. So it's also very easy to be a finance manager when all your efficiency margins are working throughput 100%. So it's fairly easy. But I think it also gives me some deviation. I have 4 R01 grants running in my name at this point of time with NIH. I'm very comfortable with cornea research,
okay,
as well as very comfortable with handling finance.
Professor APJ Abdul Kalam.
You know this story of Dr. Kalam?
We want to listen.
So Dr. Kalam, in 1993, there was one scientist who came to the hospital, who came to Arvind. At Arvind, the patients decide whether they want to go to paying section or free section. So this person called himself as a scientist, very absent-minded, goes through a complete checkup, was advised a retinal barrage laser, goes to the reception, takes his card and says, I'm from the government. The sister says, no, we don't accept cards. In 1993. So then he asks, what do I do? He says, if you have cash, you pay here or you go to the free hospital. Then this gentleman goes to the free hospital, gets admitted in the free hospital, stays for 1 day in the free hospital, gets the barrage laser next day, and then gets discharged and goes. And 16 years later, he becomes the president of India. So
that's how Professor Abdul Kalam is.
So certain stories, these are stories. And so what he said is during this in fact is in my house. It's in my house.
Yeah, Dr. Kim, Dr. Usha, you
and Lalita.
And Dr. Lalita. Yes.
Yeah. So he always says that I have seen your place as a patient, so you don't need to tell me about this thing. So when he was in his 5 years, he came at least 7 or 8 times to Arvind Eye Hospital to actually be with the nurses, to be with the gardeners and that kind of stuff. So he has a personal connection with us. And he likes South Indian food very much. Very, very native South Indian food.
So that's what the small town goes up to that level that nobody can touch them. Yes.
This was very interesting. This was in 2019. And
just before the COVID.
Just before the COVID.
Yeah.
In fact, in AOS times, I had mentioned this. I used to be an examiner for ICO and FRCOs. I used to go to UK almost every year. And every year, I used to take that big bus tour. Every year. And every year, I used to see the change of guards.
Okay.
Just to see as a entertaining thing. So it was a very pleasant moment that to be invited to the Buckingham Palace. Very interesting. I had a very big invitation letter, a formal invitation letter. My visa was expedited and everything. And so when I went to the immigration counter in the UK, that was the fourth time I was going to UK on that particular year for some reason. And so this person said, "Gentlemen, you seem to be coming to London very often. May I ask you the reason for your visit?" I said, "You really want to see?" And then I showed him that invitation letter. And he was so excited that he called up all the other immigration officers sitting around and said he's been invited by the Queen. And she had such a big name, which unfortunately I don't think continues to this generation. But she was a very well-respected figure. This was actually because I was coordinating the training program, one of the training program coordinators, to actually commemorate her Diamond Jubilee's ascension to the throne. They wanted to do something in the name for her. And there was a committee headed by Dr. John Major, who was the former UK president, Prime Minister. And so they decided blindness. So we were not involved in that part of time. But after that, we were part of the entire program where we helped train a lot of people in Africa, India, and in other parts of Southeast Asia where it was all under Commonwealth. And we sort of trained, in fact, we trained people from SNEC also. SNEC was a training center also, in fact, sorry. So everything which was part of Commonwealth was part of this program, and around 150 professionals, eye care professionals were trained across the world for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So this was a culmination thing where she called up around 18 of us and thanked us and spent 45 minutes with us. I felt very nice. You know, we are used to politicians seeing us for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and professing themselves to be very busy, but she spent quite a lot of time with us, 2019 at the palace.
This is a nice experience. We all listen from you. Yes, I can
Yeah, my
see Dr.
parents
Lalita,
in the front,
Yeah.
my daughter, who now has a daughter.
Okay.
So my daughter actually, she's completed ophthalmology, and just like Mohan Rajan sir's daughter, she also stood first in the country. She got the Dr. G. Venkateswamy Gold Medal Award instituted by the National Board. And as you know, National Board is a common exam. It is not an exam conducted by us. So she stood first in the country, and my son joined MBBS in Madurai Medical College, the government medical college, where my father went, where my mother went, where I went. It was a very proud moment for us, and now he's doing his first year MS ophthalmology also at Aravind, through the NEET government program.
So amazing. So that's what that legacy should go on. And what is this residents, social responsibility? We heard about the corporate social responsibility.
So this is a very, very important program which is very close to my heart. My books, I told you, my books sell a lot. Last year, I was also mentioning, 1 year it sold for around 4 crores. It is the digital thing which I created, that app. And what I make it a point is, I've made it a point that I don't get even 1 rupee as royalty from that, because most of my friends who did it for me, they are from All India Institute of Medical Science, they are from Shankar Nethralaya, they are from LVP. Everybody throughout the country participated in it. I was making a mention that app is now has 3,600 subscriptions. That app has sold for 6 crores in 2 years. So we get a royalty of 10%. And what the residents do is they also contribute 200 rupees from their stipend. And what we give the choice to the residents to decide on a non-Sunday. They can go on a working day. They can decide on any program other than ophthalmology. So that can be supporting an orphanage, that can be supporting, as you can see, special children, they can be supporting HIV affected kids. On January 1st, every year we conduct an exhibition, a huge exhibition where products made by blind people are actually sold by the doctors to other doctors. So my aim is to create this thing. Even in today's, I've met so many of my residents. I've been holding this post for almost 25 years. I take this job very seriously, not only creating books or anything, but to create a sort of a, I tell them that you're not surgical carpenters, but you're healers. And for that, they need to have a social essence built into him. And when you give them that independence, you give them money. Of course, they also give 200 rupees of their batch, this thing, but they get the freedom to decide what they want to do with that money.
The more important is that there is a common term that a big tree, when is there, they take care of the small trees who is under of them. And that's how they nurture them to become the big. That's how the Arvind Eye Hospital is doing to the next generation of the ophthalmologists to India.
I'll just tell you one thing which really touched my heart. That was during the COVID time, when even the relatives were not, if somebody died, the relatives usually won't go because they are scared, because they may contract COVID, rightfully so, and then this thing. And then there were a lot of people, the crematorium people took care of the last rites themselves. No family relatives would go to the crematorium. So one of my residents suggested that we should do something for the people who work in the crematorium. So we brought in all the people from the crematorium. We gave a 1 sovereign gold coin to them, and gave them one whole hour of cultural experience by the doctors, and took care of their family as well as giving them dress and other things. But the whole idea was to give a sense of a societal responsibility to the residents at their growing phase. The residents are very open. They actually are very, very, very open. It is a system which needs to loosen up a bit to sort of allow them to have their life of their own.
I think Dr. JKG also nodding your head, so you also absolutely agree on this point that whenever you get the residents, they are actually coming to learn from you. So whatever you will give them to learn, they will learn.
Absolutely. I think, to quote myself, I was a bad child, I was a naughty child, I did all the wrong things that I'm not supposed to be doing.
I have a good description for you here, sir.
In fact, Dr. V.M. Loganathan, one of our teachers in GOH in Chennai, was saying, this guy is a lateral thinker. Every time I used to challenge everything that he used to do, he was a renowned retinal physician as such. Looking at youngsters as such, I thought I was teaching them. The truth is, over time, as you start doing fellowship after fellowship, resident after resident, I realize we have far more to learn from them than they have to learn from us. Especially in this day and age, because in the past, if you did not learn from the professors in front of you or the surgeon on the table, you didn't learn. Now, like Dr. Venkatesh was saying, they can learn knowledge through so many other portals.
True.
And if they're still swarming around you and wanting to be around you, that tells you you're possibly giving them something. But the truth is, every time I'm asking them a question, science, or most often times non-science related, I'm learning from them. So that's the truth, actually.
That is learning from the generation to the other generation. So I have a very quick, rapid fire round for you. How do you describe these points one by one in one sentence or maybe one word, not more than that? Life.
Relaxed. Actually, I for all these jobs I do, after 6 o'clock I don't do even for 1 minute. I'm known for it in the entire Aravind Caste. I'm probably the only one person who does not work anything after 6 p.m. Yeah, it's completely my life. It's more relaxed. One of my friend Sudipta is here. He can vouch for it. He's been my friend for 25 years from your city. So I have a very relaxed life after 6 o'clock.
How do you define dream?
I don't know, but I take my job in my personal life as seriously as a professional life. So I want to be a great father, a great grandfather, a responsible son. As I said, it is not easy for 4 generations to stay in the same house. It is not easy at all. But then you have a dream that you all are in it together, and so you sort of make it happen. Passion, I'm considered as a robot by my family. They just say you're like a robot. You don't seem to have any passion of anything. I don't know, but I like reading books. I like history books. In fact, I was just showing Sudipta the book which I'm reading right now. It is there in my this
Bag.
thing. The Peacock Throne,
Okay.
which is about the Mughal emperors. I really enjoy reading about this.
Most difficult thing for you to do?
I have faced most difficult things in my life. Can I just share one thing?
Yeah, sure.
So it was 1998. We had the LASIK in our hospital inaugurated. After Chennai, it was the first time it was being inaugurated in South Tamil Nadu. So what Bosch and Lomb did was they brought in Dr. Michael Norris from Europe, and what they also additionally did was they took 10 top ophthalmologists in the southern Tamil Nadu region and said, we will give your sons or daughters free eye surgery because Michael Norris is coming and this thing. And so we had a dinner the night before, we had a press conference and other things. Inauguration, first eye, right eye, ophthalmologist daughter, 10 ophthalmologists waiting, buttonhole.
Sorry?
Buttonhole.
Oh.
First eye. So after 2 hours, I became 10 years older. I could handle the press, I could handle everybody. You can't tell a lie because these are all ophthalmologists, very disappointed. Everybody was so disappointed. I did not do the surgery, but I had to be responsible for doing surgery. So whenever you see a person who is very successful, if there are young people around, you can be very sure that they've gone through a lot of not hardships, challenges. So I think that was one of the most difficult thing I've ever faced in my life, because the spotlight was on me, and at that point of time LASIK was not very widely known also.
In the initial way. What you are most scared with, except Dr. Lalita?
People who know Lalita
Yeah.
will not agree with you.
Yeah,
In fact, she did microbiology just because I wanted her to.
She's a very soft-hearted person.
Very, I've been lucky in that way. I don't know whether I'm scared or any this thing. If you ask some of the residents, many of the residents will just say that I'm a very, very tough taskmaster. I don't know how you feel when you are dealing with me, because that's a completely different bandwidth. But people are more scared of me, I think, and I sort of escape by saying, I have my mother's genes. What can I do? I cannot wish it away, and that kind of a stuff. But I don't know what I'm scared about, but I don't do very irrational things. I don't take risks. And I think that is one of the important hallmark if you're going to be the finance director for a large organization. Just take no risks.
This is one important tips for you. Thank you. Just put your hands together for the masters. They're not masters, they're the legends now. Now, our next master, for which we are going to talk with, Dr. Girish Shivarao. I'll come to this picture later. I'll go to this picture first. So, how do you want to describe, or tell me something? See, yesterday also I was describing you as a the clinician at par excellence, a very balanced administrator, and a natural sportsman. These 3 qualities I have described in your oration. So, do you can you say something about your? I believe that if you are not a doctor or then from the businessman family, you wanted to be a cricketer.
So I think very typical of young Indians, I wanted to be a cricketer, and I was reasonably good in cricket during my
Kapil Dev.
school days.
Who was your dream cricketer? Kapil Dev.
No, Sunil Gavaskar. because
Sunil Gavaskar.
I came from Maharashtra and I
Okay.
followed him, and because of his technicality and everything. But unfortunately, since I was from a backward part of Maharashtra, that's called Marathwada, the opportunities for sports were very limited, and also my family with the hotel background, they did not foresee sports as a career way back in the early 80s, and that's when it became very mandatory that I need to take up education in a big way. My elder brother was an engineer, so my father said, why not become a doctor? And I was the first doctor from the family. And this photo that you see, this gentleman is Mr. B.R. Barwale, the recipient of the World Food Prize, which is the equivalent of the Nobel Prize. So, very few recipients from India, and the other person is Mr. M.S. Swaminathan. So, they were the ones who brought about the Green Revolution in India and made India self-sufficient as far as food is concerned. So, this person also is from the same hometown of mine, from Jalna. And his interaction with Dr. Badrinath in the mid-80s inspired him to replicate something similar to Shankar Netralaya in Maharashtra, in his hometown Jalna. And that's how Ganpati Netralaya was planned and executed. And this happened around the same time as I was finishing my MBBS from St. G.S. Medical College, Mumbai. And it so happened that on one of my visits back home for a holiday, this gentleman called me and my dad for a dinner at home. We knew them as a family. And over the dinner, he introduced me to a colossal man. I mean, both in terms of physical appearance as well as in his stature, and that was Dr. Badrinath. So Dr. Badrinath was visiting Jalna, and this chance interaction with him molded me towards giving up a potential career as a MD medicine and a cardiologist into joining for ophthalmology, because he said that this is an equally glamorous profession, ophthalmology, and you have instantaneous results when you do a cataract surgery and give them a 6/6 vision right the next day. And since he was coming up with a big hospital, he said there is a lot of opportunity there, and that's how I got into ophthalmology, giving up all my sporting.
So from cricketer, Dr. David brought you to the medicine, and then from there, Dr. Badrinath has brought you to the ophthalmology.
Absolutely. And believe me, before meeting him, I didn't know about Shankar Netralaya or Dr. Badrinath, because I was completely into medicine and cardiology, and I was following all the cardiologists of Bombay. And Bombay is the way
True.
it is.
True. So another, if you want to describe Jalna as a small city, so that's what the small town again is now coming up to the world of ophthalmology. Now next, do you remember this picture, the top one? Dr. Rajesh
Yeah.
Pogla, Dr. Harsha Bhattacharya, I can identify two.
And then that's actually right is Dr. Pradeep Vyas.
Oh, this is Dr. Pradeep, yeah.
So, Dr. Pradeep Vyas had just started, was the medical director of Ganpati Netralaya. He had come to Shankar Netralaya at the same time. And similarly, Shankar Deva Netralaya was also being started at the same time in Guwahati. So, Dr. Badrinath had a meeting with all these stalwarts in Shankar Netralaya, and he made it a point that whenever a dignitary was visiting, he would try and get the residents who are from that area to interact. And Dr. Fogla was from Assam background and me from Jalna, so he would always try and make the dignitaries, visiting dignitaries comfortable by getting someone of their own kind to take care of them during the entire visit. The photo on the down is again something which is related to Kolkata. We had this gentleman, Mr. Dipankar Chatterjee, who made a donation. And you know, Dr. Badrinath would, off the cuff, ask for donation from anybody and no one could refuse him. So this gentleman, when he was visiting, Dr. Badrinath said that you come from a land of sports. I think you should donate something for our staff welfare fund. And so he said yes, off the cuff. And he said, what do you want? He said, I want to put up a cricket tournament in your name. And now from 1987, we have this Dr. Dipankar Chatterjee cricket tournament that goes on annually.
For alumni.
Yes, and it's a proper season ball, leather ball tournament. Though I've stopped playing this ever since I got into surgeries because I didn't want to hurt myself. But our staff are very, very...
They play it very regularly.
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously.
Juggler.
So, as I said, the sporting genes in me have not died, though I've taken up ophthalmology in a big way. So wherever I do get a chance, be it football, and nowadays it's predominantly badminton because it's much safer. And I also play doubles because with age, the stamina for playing singles becomes much difficult. But I try and keep myself fit by sports. I've never really liked the idea of doing gym or running or exercise that way, but I would always prefer doing some sports which I thought was both entertaining as well as had the same fitness goals.
True. So he was equally loved by your seniors. You can see the whole gang, juniors to senior. I'll come to that. But again, see, you have a wide experience of administration. So you have been into Jalna for quite a long time. When Dr. Vyas left, you have taken over for the Jalna and you have taken them to the next level. And from there, with the request of Dr. Badrinath, again, you have come and joined Shankar Netralaya. So how was that journey? How difficult is maintaining administration along with the clinical practice together?
So I joined Ganpati Netralaya in '98 as the head of the retina services. And then Dr. Vyas is from Indore. So when he was deciding to return back to his hometown, that's when the management kind of got me as his deputy for a year before transitioning me as the medical director for Ganpati Netralaya, which is, in terms of size-wise, it's about a tenth of Shankar Netralaya, both in terms of patient volumes as well as the management of the staff is concerned. And it was a nice grooming period. I spent about almost 11 years there as continuing as the head of the retina services, but also getting more actively involved in the administration there. And but obviously somewhere around 2017, and I had actually thought that I'll retire at Ganpati Netralaya because that was my hometown. My parents, my brothers, all are there from that place. There was no reason for me to look at going out anywhere. And I was also very focused that for me it's only the institutional practice, not really a private practice. So in 2017 I reached a crossroad where for my daughter's education I had to move out of Jalna because of the limited opportunities for her. So that's when I, almost 2 years before that, I approached Mr. Barwale and then subsequently with Dr. Badrinath and told them that I'm very sorry, though I thought that I would work here for another at least 15 years, I need to move on for my personal reasons. And they completely understood it. They just told me, give us a time, give us a year to get this sorted out so that the transition is smooth. And we kept it under wraps for 1 year. No one knew it other than my wife, myself, Dr. Badrinath, and Mr. Barwale, not even my parents. Because we didn't want to upset the hospital suddenly, because such kind of things can derail the stability of the thing. I also had a very frank talk with Dr. Badrinath saying that I know I'm coming as the medical director of one place, But I am seeking a job placement at Shankar Nethralaya with no hangs-up about I want this position or this role. I will want to come purely as a consultant because my primary focus now changes towards my daughter's education. I want to concentrate everything on that. So I'm absolutely okay with you giving me any other job. And if you don't have a job, you please tell me. I'll move to my wife's hometown, that is Cochin. But do me a favor, please put in a word to Dr. Giridhar,
there, yeah.
who was an alumni. It so happened that Dr. Badrinath was also at that time looking at finding a replacement, if I may say, for him because he was aging relatively rapidly towards the last part of his years with his Parkinson's. So, and he felt that I was a natural fit because of my 11 years in a sister concerned organization of Shankar Nethralaya because Ganpati Nethralaya was a sister concern, completely managed, modeled the way Shankar Nethralaya works. But for me, it was a challenge. Because
it was really challenged because there were a lot of seniors who were actually teacher of you. These two gentlemen, the visionaries of Shankar Nethralaya. So, I mean, how do you place yourself in between them?
Yeah. So I remember the day I came to Chennai to join Shankar Nethralaya, he told me that you will just be a medical director. So you will be one of the other medical directors. We had at that time 3 medical directors. And I said, that's okay. So I might be given a certain portfolio looking after particular things, I'll do that. But when I met him in his room, he said, I have plans for you to become the president of the organization. And that completely shook me. Because I said, sir, this is not what I've come for. But he said, no, we'll go through it very slowly. So he said, I'll hold hands with you for the next 4-5 years. I'll tutor you, groom you into this. But I said, sir, how can I become the boss, so-called, for all my teachers? That is
so really hard to manage that.
I need to go and speak to them first
Yep.
before I say yes to you. He said, please do that. And I was very fortunate that Dr. Surendran, Dr. Gopal, Dr. Prema, Dr. Vijaya, I met them and told them that, see, this has been suddenly thrown at me. And they said that you have our backing. Please go ahead. Don't worry about it. Because most of these people were given the option of leading the organization, but they chose their career over administration, their ophthalmology career, because they felt that it would hinder their academics or their research and other passion. So no one was very passionate about administration, a thankless job for most of them. So for them it was kind of a good riddance. They wouldn't need to be called by Dr. Badrinath and told that please do this, please do this. If
So
they had
they all found that you were the better person to be into that chair followed by.
Absolutely.
So just describe these few of them very shortly, 1 or 2 words.
So life for me would be meaningful. So I think we all need to find a meaning for a life and make it meaningful not only for ourselves but for our family or for the society in general.
Dream, passion.
I think dream big. Dream big in whatever you want to achieve so that it will be a step better than what you're at right now. Passion for me is compassion. I think one thing that you learn from SN philosophy is a deep sense of compassion.
Most difficult
The
thing.
most difficult thing for me was definitely taking the decision to move from my comfort of the Jalna job and take
Come
up
to
the
the other
responsibility of the Shankar. That was one of the most difficult, and I thought I had not bargained for this when I
True.
took the step.
Are you really scared of something else?
My biggest scare, the scare that I carry every day, is I should not do anything that can harm the legacy which or bring a blot in the legacy which Dr. Badrinath has created. So that's the biggest scare, and that's I try and do everything, envision the way that he would have thought or he would have acted when I face any situation.
Living with the responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah, again, that's what I have described him, is a very, very big responsibility, and he is taking care of that with a very balanced way. Thank you, sir. And we have a brief discussion about Dr. Gangadhar Sundar. Can you imagine the one person who has written a common clinical emergencies book when he was doing residency, PG?
Final year of medical student.
Final year of medical student. So he has written this book. And like Dr. Prajna was telling, that not taking the risk is the basic of the finance. And the other side was telling, take risk. Without taking risk, you will not be able to move forward. And that's how he described himself as a young bull. But we all know that you are actually the ambassador of Indian ophthalmology to the world. And you brought the world to the Indian ophthalmology as well. So you are actually the bridge between us and especially for the Singapore region. You have helped a lot of ophthalmologists to move to the Singapore and the reverse way. How do you describe yourself?
A young bull, a raging bull, who's waiting to be tamed. Thankfully, I have a lovely wife who's trying to tame me even. Very similar experience like Sujata Mohan Rajan. Now, I see myself as somebody who's been extremely fortunate for having gone through life the way what I've gone through, and never ever envision I will be where I am. And none of this was charted. I think I took chances that came my way. I think I've been fortunate enough that when doors shut on me, somehow doors opened on me. Classic example is when I joined Mohan Rajan, when there was a major phase in my life, when everybody else said, your life is finished. I had friends who opened doors for me. Likewise, I think that has happened not just in India alone and around the world. And I now see myself as, like rightly pointed out, I owe everything to what I am today, to what India has given me, my parents have given me. And I think it's our responsibility to do whatever we can in the lifetime. I can't achieve big things like Dr. Venkatesh or Girish Rao or Badrinath or Surendran. But whatever you can, I feel I should be doing it.
See, you are third generation of doctor. So you wanted to be a plastic surgeon. And your family wanted you to be an ophthalmic surgeon because there was no ophthalmologist in your family. So you put together, blended very smartly and went to oculoplasty. And from there, now you describe yourself as an oculofacial surgeon. Am I right?
It's amazing you put it that way, because what I wanted to be is not what I got into residency. So it was a failure on my part, not having matched into a residency program. Although, yes, I did match into a plastic surgery residency program, I didn't want to take up the program. I took up ophthalmology as a compromise. To have the luxury of eating my mother's food every single day and living with my parents. And like within 6 months, I had able hands like Dr. Basanta, for example, hold my hands doing knife section after knife section. Believe it or not, I come from the ICCE days. Knife section, yeah. 6 months, hundreds of cataract surgeries, thankfully low complication rate. I was dejected, disappointed, and bored. If this is what ophthalmology is all about, I wanted to quit. That's when I was surrounded by good friends, and in the government hospital that I had, my father had an SLR camera. I had two other good friends, Chandrasekhar and Rajiv Sukumaran from Cochin, Kerala. We used to do external photography for fun. And when we saw every single cataract patient, glaucoma patient, with all kinds of facial disorders, we were clicking away like crazy. And when you go back and process these films, those days you had to process the film 1 month later after the film is over. You could analyze that by being an ophthalmologist, you can still do a lot of facial plastic surgery and periorbital oculoplastic surgery. And that's how I started the journey of pursuing oculoplastic or oculofacial surgery.
That's a nice. Dr. Green.
Wow. So again, this was another example of failure on my part. when I finally wanted to be an oculoplastic surgeon, and I tried to ask everybody in India at that point of time, there were only a handful of people. Dr. Ashok Grover was here, Dr. Shamsundar Prasad was there. When I asked, where should I go? Everybody said, go to the UK. That's where we Indians go. And everybody I knew had also gone FRCS this, FRCS that. And South Indians are crazy. They get 5 FRCS. Now I look at it and said, I don't even know what's the purpose.
Correct.
One FRCS is the same as the 5 other FRCS. But then when I asked, where should I really go for the best? Then everybody said, of course, the US.
But you won't get the chance.
But every single person I asked, but forget about it, you're not going to get it.
And then the young bull, he rose up and then tell, no, I have to go to US only.
Only because everybody said you can't do it. That's why I said the young raging bull that I was, and I hope I'll grow up sometime soon. And heroically I said, I'm good enough, my surgery is good, I should automatically get a residency.
Mm-hmm.
That's when reality struck, when I put application after application. American letters are very nice. Thank you very much for your wonderful application, this, that. The first 2 letters I read, wow, they know I'm a genius, I'm a good guy, they should be giving it to me. Only after the 3rd sentence you realize it's a rejection. So that's how polished Americans are. So as a stopgap, I wanted to do a fellowship which is related to oculoplastic surgery, and that's when Dr. Dick Green from Wilmar was kind enough to offer me a fellowship in pathology before. But lo and behold, even before I started the fellowship, an opening for residency at Henry Ford Hospital.
So here Dr. Murray was there.
Yes, Murray Christensen, I think he was my teacher, my father, a true proper gentleman. He was a Canadian by descent with a lot of European blood, so you know how Europeans are and how Americans are. I hope when those recording goes somewhere, I'm not saying any politically correct things. He was a prim, proper, disciplined person, the way it should be. A black and white, morals and ethics at the highest caliber. So he took me under his wings, and if I say 80% of what I am today next to my parents, I'll probably give it to him. But the difference was, he was a textbook person. In other words, what was there in the textbooks is what he would teach. And he was extremely good at what he did. But that's when I realized still there's more to learn. And that's when every time my boss, Dr. Christensen, was away on leave, he was a family man, by the way. 2 weeks in summer, 2 weeks in winter, he'll take off for his cottage.
So you got that opportunity of going.
I would go spend time with Dr. Ian Jackson, whom I had heard of through Dr. Raj Sabapti. As a plastic surgeon, he was a former head of plastic surgery at Mayo, relocated to Southfield, Michigan. And he is one man who inspired me to what I do today, because except for the brain and the intra-abdominal contents, he will do every surgery from top to toe, hair to toe, literally. Reconstructive, aesthetic, functional, rehabilitation, taking parts from here, putting it somewhere there, and all this stuff. And that taught me that the 20% I was looking for has to be gotten from non-ophthalmologist, non-oculoplastic surgeon. That's when I started working with craniomaxillofacial colleagues and imbibed a lot of values which I've tried to incorporate into oculoplastic surgery.
Your value for your family is amazing. So would you
They will beg to differ.
Definitely, that's a normal thing for every family. And this is how the is written by my International Oculoplasty Fellowship experience. If you read and go through this, Dr. Honavar's name is also there. So this is an amazing experience they have described there, sir. And that shows how much respect they have you as a teacher.
I think my kids will say this and my wife will say this. I invest more in my fellows, and I'll admit the guilt saying, than in my own children. I go through the same things that every father goes through. Every time they commit a mistake, I take responsibility and try to fix it. Every time they go through difficulty for their job placements or personal failures, I take it personally. But for the same reason, I think I've been extremely proud of every single fellow I've trained. Whether my current fellow is from Palestine. I didn't foresee this war happening, but when I realized I want to take fellows from countries which otherwise don't get trained, from Jordan, from Syria, from Iran, in addition to the Indians and the Filipinos and the Malaysians and the Thai and other fellows I've trained. So I invest a lot in them. I take it personally. They also see me like a father. They're quite upset and depressed and dejected with me because I'm very strict with them. But when I see them being successful somewhere else, it gives me great joy.
You're absolutely right. So these are the all very small clips of what he has done as a clinician. So if you go to describe your clinical contribution, the whole evening will go off. So probably if you can just describe very shortly life.
Life is to be lived. Live every single
Well
moment
taken.
of it.
Well taken. Dream.
Dream on. Don't stop dreaming. Remember, your dream is actually somebody's reality already. So you're talking about innovation, we talked about robotic surgery yesterday. By the time you're thinking of an idea, somebody is already working on it or worked at it. In the past, you would say, whatever I think of will happen in 10, 15 years. Today is literally happening in weeks to months, the way technology is developing. So young generation, dream on.
Passion.
Working with youngsters. When again I was at a time we are looking at the younger generation saying they are lazy, they are 9-to-5ers, they don't read books. I was very dejected and disappointed because that's the path we took. But I realized they're a much smarter generation. They're a much wiser generation. My kids have taught me this, that we spoiled the world and they're going to take it upon themselves to fix the world. So I think investing in the youngsters is probably, I think all you have done and all of you have done, and that's my passion, is to work with youngsters. And I always say that if you're a father or a mother, you're as young as your youngest child. So if you keep training fellows after fellow and fellow, somebody coming fresh out of residency, you're still a teacher of that junior fellow,
Junior fellows.
not the 25 other fellows you've trained before.
This is well taken. Most difficult thing?
Is facing people who have given me very difficult times, again, instead of running and hiding from them. But secretly inside, I thank them because that is what made me what I am today. So what was the difficulty at that point of time? I look back and said, I will face them on, because even though it's very difficult, people will tell me, don't meet him again or her again or whatever it is. But having faced them on, which is very difficult at that time, I'm thankful they did what they did. So, in a lot of ways.
They just poked the bull. So that's how you have.
If not, I wouldn't have done
would
the
not have
things
the
that
bull
I've
come
done.
up. What you are the most scared with?
What I'm scared of is, I think we realize whether it's God, nature, parents, whatever it is, you've been put on this earth for a purpose, which I didn't know what it was at 25, 26 years of age. But now I realize that the clock is ticking. And you want to achieve even the things that you've not yet thought about. Do whatever you can, as long as, like I mentioned in the earlier session, health permits. You can afford to do it, even though it's coming all out of your pocket, with which you could have bought your children and family lots of other things. Make a difference to the world. And in a way, every time I go, I think I'm learning and bringing it back. So that's what I'm most scared of, that time will run out on all of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Three of them together. One doesn't want to take risk. Another one is only with the risk and then move forward. The other person want to be balanced. But all three of them, with their way of looking at life, they have given a good lesson of life. If we can take away from those few of them, I think that can be a real Hirachuni and Panna. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. We'll meet you again, hopefully, in this kind of. Yeah, we will have over there. Yeah, sir, you cannot go away without having a pack of sweets once you were in Kolkata.